Hi everyone, Linguini Pastrami here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Sharon Van Etten album. We've been going about this all wrong. This is what's said to be the 6th full-length LP from singer and songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, Miss Sharon Van Etten, though she has been recording like her own projects and demos and stuff since the 2000s. And it's been quite a trip over the years to watch her sound and profile grow and grow, really making her one of the strongest and most well-known voices on the indie songwriter circuit. And with that strong, mature, expressive lead vocal, how could she not be? Now, in 2014, Sharon took what was essentially her very straightforward singer-songwriter sound to its highest peak on the record Are We There? But since then, she's shown more interest in expanding her instrumental palettes into more synths and electronics and shades of art pop, specifically on her last record, Remind Me Tomorrow. And I think she continues to push the bounds of her sound on this new one here too. However, I would say the boundaries being pushed this time around aren't so much stylistic as much as they have to do with the size and presentation of the songs and instrumentals here. Usually I associate Sharon's records with songs that have very slow and patient pacing and also reach large and dramatic conclusions, and this LP here is no exception. I'd actually say Sharon is pushing that angle of her music a bit harder this time around with heavier drums, thicker bass, more compression, and stacked up layers of synths and guitar, all slathered in enough reverb to choke a whale. And the result is some of the biggest sounding songs Sharon's ever released, and maybe that's to the point where it's to the album's detriment. Cause a lot of nuance and intimacy that I previously enjoyed in Sharon's music, I think has been sacrificed here in the process. Many of the instrumentals here, in my opinion, don't so much sound vast and open as much as they come across sort of oppressive and impenetrable. I'm even noticing that it's making me listen to or observe her songs in a different way too, cause on any given Sharon LP, I usually do find myself appreciating a bit more her chops as a lyricist and a storyteller. But not so much here, as many of the verses and intros on this album just feel like tension-building placeholders that just kind of sit there and give us a track to ride into these really grand conclusions and climaxes with, many of which are soundtracked with thick synthesizers, pounding drums, as well as a very haunting refrain of some sort. You come home to me, I didn't feel anything, long gone, I'll see you far away. Moments like these don't so much feel like they're about the song as much as they are finding ways to reach a very dramatic climax, which is evidenced on songs where it seems like the climax is the whole point, as the track pretty much ends abruptly right after we reach that highest peak of volume, like on Anything or The Closer. Now, not every track that follows this climactic formula is like this though. While I may struggle to see how the song Home to Me would be all that appealing if you strip back its very heavy and droning layers, conversely, the song Come Back has a strong song at its core, as well as a big sonic presentation too. And I guess these instrumental builds would be one thing if I actually found the instrumentation they were delivering to be all that mouthwatering, but sometimes I don't. I'm reminded once again of the track Home to Me, where Sharon's beckoning vocal harmonies are about the only thing that appeals to me in the thick of all of these distant synth arpeggios and ethereal chords. But even if I'm not crazy about some of these songs, I can at least say Sharon is hitting some of the highest peaks of her career vocally on this thing, like on the powerful opener Darkness Fades that has an instrumental so heavy and so saturated it sounds like something out of a movie trailer. And there is a consistently large and cinematic quality to the instrumentals on this LP, especially during moments that bring a groovier beat and a stronger chorus, like with the track I'll Try, where we get some glistening synth chords and skipping bits of bass. This is likely the closest Sharon is ever going to come to making a straight up new wave song. But honestly, I come away from this track just feeling refreshed that the verses feel as engaging and as authoritative as the choruses do. HEADSPACE is another one of my favorites here. The droning bass and touches of distortion, as well as noisy metallic production, puts this track in a position where it's almost like inadvertently doing an industrial thing, and it totally works. This song also features some of Sharon's most direct lyrics on the entire LP too, where she seems to be fighting to get through to someone in the midst of a connection that may have gone cold. Their eyes are locked onto a screen. She's wanting to touch in the dark, be held. Describing 10-year-old cotton briefs wanting play, you kind of get this image of even though things right now are not at their best or their sexiest, we're still wanting some kind of like connection or intimacy or closeness. Then the song Mistakes has most definitely grown on me in the context of the record, with it being easily one of the catchiest tracks here. This track has the vintage dance grooves of of Blondie's Heart of Glass colliding with the dark and impenetrable heaviness of what sounds like, I don't know, an original theme to a Netflix series. And yeah, I do legit think this is one of the better hooks of Sharon's entire career so far. Now, given the state of the instrumentals on this project, of course I am kind of drawn to the acoustic cut Darkish. Hearing the simple guitar chords gently strummed on this track and hearing Sharon's voice in such a naked state is a nice change of pace, especially with her vocal runs on this one, veering somewhere in between operatic and also like these really passionate, high-pitched Thom Yorke-esque croons. So if I add it up, I do really enjoy about half the tracks on this record, quite a bit, for various reasons, but the rest I'm sort of on the fence with, more or less. I did find this project to be more cohesive than Sharon's last, if not mostly due to its very consistently monolithic sound. But again, it's that very quality that I feel like worked against some tracks on this LP, where the tunes feel like less of a priority, and even the vocals occasionally take a bit of a back seat, especially on the song Born, where they're kind of sitting in the midst of this sea of roaring guitars and building horn sections that are quite powerful. But yeah, I thought this overall was a decent record that occasionally gets lost in the sauce of reverb and volume and layers, but a decent record all the same. I'm feeling a strong 6 to a light 7 on this one. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, music, Sharon Van Etten, forever.